So with regard to the p-type semiconductor, we have to take into account the previous case that we have already studied in case of n-type semiconductor, where one electron that is left free inside the crystal structure after the formation of a covalent bond. Now, under p types of semiconductors, if pure silicon or germanium, if it is doped with a trivalent impurity such as boron atom number 5, or aluminium atom number 13, or gallium atom number 42, when either of these impurities if are added to pure silicon or germanium crystal, then the formation of a covalent bond between this doped impurity, that is doped trivalent impurity, and the surrounding silicon or germanium atoms, and how the bonding takes place, that we have to take into account to see how a p-type semiconductors are formed. Now again, this is p-type semiconductors. In case of p-type of semiconductors, if I draw once again the same pure silicon crystal, this is a part of silicon crystal structure where every silicon is surrounded by the greatest possible number of silicon atoms depending upon its valency. Here, every silicon is surrounded by 4 silicon atoms. So, this is again pure silicon atom which is non-conductor of electricity. If to this pure silicon atom, if a trivalent impurity, if it is added, which is known as a dopant, if a trivalent impurity such as boron, aluminium, or gallium, if it is added, then they can, either of these elements can contribute 3 electrons during the doping process, and because of which the material that is obtained is known as a p-type semiconducting material. Now if I elaborate this particular diagram, then by adding, say for example, if I add aluminium atom number 13, its electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, this is neon configuration, atom number 10, then 3s2 and 3p1. So this aluminium can contribute its 3 electrons, that is aluminium is having 3 valence shell electrons. So if I elaborate this particular diagram, due to the addition of a trivalent impurity to the crystal of silicon, some of the lattice points are replaced by aluminum atoms. So if I elaborate this particular diagram, then we can also see one more aluminum atom and so on. So if a three-dimensional elaboration of the diagram, if I take into account, then these aluminum atoms can be observed. Now the box diagram representation for the electronic configuration of aluminum can be shown as like this. This is a 3s orbital, this is a 3p orbital. 3s orbital containing 2 electrons like this, and 3p orbital containing 1 electron. So this is known as a 3px electron. For example, this aluminum contributes its first amongst these 3 electrons, first 3 px electron if it is contributed, then amongst these 3 to 3s, one electron is engaged here and one more electron that I have shown here. Now the silicon atoms 1, 2, 3 and 4, these silicon atom also contribute their single electron for the formation of these bonds between aluminum and silicon. So this silicon contributes its single electron, this silicon contributes its single electron, and this silicon contributes its single electron. This silicon also contributes its single electron, but no electrons are contributed by aluminum, because whatever valence electrons are pertaining to aluminum atoms. Those are three in number. Those are already contributed. So one electron, that is a scarcity of an electron, is there in between the formation of this aluminum and silicon. So three bonds have been produced normally by contributing the electrons from aluminum as well as the silicon. But one these three bonds have been produced, but for the formation of this bond, one electron, there is a scarcity of one electron, that is aluminum is deprived of contributing one electron. So by doping a trivalent impurity into the pure aluminum or silicon crystal, the electron vacancies are created. Electron vacancies are created where there is no electron. So this is known as a electron vacancy, and because of which here total number of electrons required are 8, but only 7 electrons are there. One electron that is not with aluminum, and hence here this electron vacancy, that is known as a hole, and this is regarded as a positive hole. And when we apply an electrical potential across such crystal, this is negative terminal, this is a positive terminal. On application of an electric potential, this hole now migrates inside the crystal structure, and this hole, in doing so, that migrates towards a negative terminal, because holes are positively charged species, so they definitely move towards the negatively charged species. And in moving, some nearby bonds are ruptured, and one of the electrons, say for example this electron of silicon, now occupies this electron empty space or empty vacancy of electron, which creates a new electron vacancy. In order to occupy this electron, occupy some nearby electron, they occupy this hole, and this creates a new hole. So because of migration of holes, the current conduction is done in such crystal, as the holes are migrating towards the negatively charged pole, and holes are regarded as the positively charged particles, and hence such type of material are known as the p-type semiconduction or p-type semiconductors. So in this case, the current conduction is carried out with the help of positively charged particles, that is holes. They migrate inside the crystal structure, and hence the current conduction is carried out, and hence all such materials where the holes or the electron vacancies, they move, and in order to occupy these electron vacancies, some nearby electrons occupy these electron vacancies. By movement of such holes, the current conduction is carried out. Hence all such materials are known as a p-type semiconductors. So with regard to the band theory of metals, we can explain this as like this. This is a central place aluminum atom, which is like this, and this can form the bonds with silicon like this. This is first bond, the second bond between silicon and aluminum, third bond between silicon aluminum, fourth bond between silicon and aluminum. Every aluminum will contribute its single electrons like this, and this silicon can contribute its single electron like this. Only silicon here can contribute, but aluminum does not have any electron, because whatever valence electrons are there, those are used up here. So this is known as the electron vacancy or empty space, which is created by absence of electrons, is known as a electron vacancy, and aluminum is known as the impurity element. This impurity element can contribute only 3 electrons. there is a scarcity of electrons takes place. So with respect to the band theory of metals, if we want to show, then there are again two bands exist. As we know, first band, lowermost band, that is known as the valence band, which we abbreviate as VB, and the empty band, that is known as the conduction band, which is at the top of this valence band. Now, because vacancies are there, these electron vacancies, so many electron vacancies are created by the doped element, and that can form a new energy band which is near to valence band, and this is known as electron acceptor band, which is known as EAB, electron acceptor band, which is very close to valence band. Now, on application of electrical potential, whatever electrons are there in the valence shell, they can move easily from the valence band to conduction band. So because of such series of jumps, current conduction is carried out from the valence band to the electron acceptor band, which is entirely empty, and hence current conduction is carried out, and hence as here the hole can migrate from the valence band to conduction band, and because of which the current conduction is carried out by positively charged particles, and hence it is known as p-type semiconductors. Now, if we see the potential energy diagram, then we can show this as like this. This is the density of states, whether it is a valence band or the conduction band, and this is a energy. Now, as usual, there are two different bands, but here this is a electron acceptor band, and this is a conduction band, this is a valence band. Now how can we distinguish? Here, due to formation of this electron acceptor band, which is very close to valence band, hence this is a electron acceptor band which is very close to valence band. So this energy gap, that is a delta E, is very small, and because of which the electrons can easily jump from valence band to conduction band on application of electrical potential, and because of which current conduction is done in all such crystals. So this is how the current conduction that is done in case of the p-type semiconductors. Now, if we want to conclude the points of differences between the n-type and p-type semiconductors, then it is very easy to remember these two different types of semiconductors, that is extrinsic. First, if I write, this is an n-type semiconductor, n-type extrinsic semiconductor, and this is a p-type extrinsic semiconductor. Now, the first point of difference for this n-type semiconductor is that in case of n-type semiconductor, silicon or germanium crystal is doped with a pentavalent impurity. Silicon or germanium crystal that is doped with a pentavalent impurity such as phosphorus, arsenic or antimony. In case of p-type semiconduction, the your silicon or germanium, that is doped with a trivalent impurity such as boron atom number 5, aluminum atom number 13 or gallium atom number 42. Here, in case of n-type semiconductors, here the charge carriers, or which are responsible to carry the charge carriers are the negatively charged species, that is the electrons. While in p-type semiconductors, the charge carriers are the positive holes. The holes are, or the electron vacancies, just now I have shown, these electron vacancies are regarded as a positive holes. So current conduction is done with the help of positive holes. The third point of difference is that due to addition of a pentavalent impurity in pure silicon or germanium crystal, the extra electron that carries the charge and that can form the Fermi level or the energy gap, Fermi level, that is near the Fermi level that is present near the conduction band, which is known as the electron donor band. And the third point of difference in case of p-type semiconductor, that here the Fermi level or the new energy band, that is near the valence band, which is known as electron acceptor band. So these are the 3 points of difference. So if you remember these 3 points of differences between n-type and p-type semiconductors, then it is very easy. You have to remember the different diagrams which I have shown here for n-type and p-type semiconduction. So if you remember all these points, then it is very much easy for you to remember all these points with respect to the n-type and p-type semiconductors. Now I am having the video which shows how the semiconduction that is carried out. Just see this video. So this is how we have seen how the N-type and P-type semiconduction that is carried out. Now, if we want to see certain diagrammatic representation of these types that just now I have shown you, see this diagram. This is N-type semiconduction where I have shown the phosphorus atom in the explanation. If you write plus 5, that means the doped atom impurity that contributes 5 electrons and 1 electron, that is which is shown here, that is a free electron or extra electron. Here I have shown how the pentavalent impurity form 4 bonds with the 4 covalent bonds with the surrounding silicon atoms, while 1 electron that is left behind, because of which the current conduction is carried out. And this is a diagrammatic view of the N-type semiconduction with regard to the band theory of metals, where the extra electron that can form a new energy band that is known as the donor band or electron donor band, which is very close to the empty or vacant conduction band. And this is a valence band which is completely filled with electrons. So due to formation of a new energy band that is known as an electron donor band, which is very close to conduction band, the energy gap is very small, which is shown here, and hence on application of electrical potential, the electrons from electron donor band, they can donate the electrons to empty conduction band, and in doing so they can carry current. Because the current conduction is carried out by negatively charged particles, hence all such materials are known as a N-type semiconductors. This is a potential energy diagram which I have shown that the electron donor band, which is very close to conduction band, that I have shown, that is the energy gap is very small. For this purpose, this is a very small energy gap, while the energy gap between electron donor band and the valence band, that is very large enough. So this is large energy gap. So this is all about the N-type semiconductor. Then this is again the N-type semiconducting material where phosphorus is doped with silicon, and this is a extra electron, and all these are the silicon atom. They are capable of forming, they are capable of donating their valence electron. So one electron that is left, which pertains to the phosphorus. Here once again I would like to show you. Here in this case, this is a p-type semiconduction where indium or a trivalent impurity such as aluminum or boron, that is shown here. So for this, here they are capable of forming the bonds with this. So only 3 electrons are contributed by the doped trivalent impurity, and hence that creates a empty hole. Here I have shown the empty hole. So such a number of empty holes or electron vacancies are created, and these holes can form a new band of energy level very close to valence band. So this is known as electron acceptor band, EAB, which is very close to valence band, which is farther away from the conduction band. The same situation I have shown here by taking into account a silicon doped with a trivalent impurity that is having one empty positive hole. So this is, I have shown the holes. So this is how the p-type semiconduction that is carried out. Now I want to conclude here, but I have to announce the next week's seminars, students. Miss Poonam Todkar, she has to deliver free electron theory, seminar on free electron theory,